The sports hit list by the fans for the fans. Carl Coulange here with a special panel for a topic. We have, let me introduce from the great area, Mr. Ray Jarvis. Ray, how you doing, bro?
What's going on? Pleasure to be back, man.
Chuck, a.k.a. Pops. How you doing, man?
Good, Carl. How about you?
I'm good. We got the baseball guy, Greg Polius. I have to announce that because we have some people who believe he doesn't know baseball. So when I introduce him, I have to acknowledge that. The baseball guy.
I appreciate you.
My baseball guy. And we have Andrew. Andrew, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. Glad to be here.
All right, so I got a text from Ray Jarvis earlier. He's like, Drew Brees just said a few comments, Carl. What are you going to do about it? I'm like, all right, well, let me see who's available for a Zoom. I got on the Zoom. I literally got on my phone, started texting people, and I got you guys, so thank you for doing it quickly. But to kind of sum up what Drew Brees said, let me read it right here clear for people to understand. He said he will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country. This was him on a podcast, and they asked him, you know, given what's going on right now, we may see NFL players take a kneel. And those were his comments. And he also stated after that he had both his grandparents in World War II. You know, one of them was a Marine Corps, one of them was in the Army. And he believes, you know, standing for the flag shows a sign of unity. He understands what's going on, but it shows a signs of unity and that we're in this together. So, Ray, since this was your kind of idea topic, go for it first, brother.
First and foremost, before anyone tries to expose me, Drew Brees is my favorite quarterback. So this hurts. You know what I mean? Like that's my guy. I'm a Giants fan, but I love me some Drew Brees. I just think that when you got on that show, you're a veteran quarterback. You should be media savvy. You're on Yahoo Finance, and you walked into a booby trap of a question. Considering the times that we're in right now, what's happening literally outside, riots, looting, craziness, protests all over the nation, you might have wanted to evade that question altogether. But the overarching scope of it is, for me, is you gotta understand that it's past this now. You can't say that you're against kneeling and you don't want to do this and that. Listen, it's not about the flag. It's not about the troops. It's not even about Colin Kaepernick anymore. It's about the cause, the purpose. You can't pick and choose anymore. You can't say I'm down for this cause, but don't do that. That is the whole crux of the protest right now. Stop telling people how to protest. If you don't agree with it, sometimes silence is a good thing. You tell the question, listen, you know what? Right now, I don't think it's the best time to get into that. There's a lot of things happening right now, and I'd rather not discuss that. But I am for the Black Lives Matter movement, and he would have been fine. That's how I feel about that.
Andrew, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with what Ray just said, or what's your take?
I agree for the most part. I have relatives. My grandfather served in World War II. My uncle served in Vietnam. He got shot in Vietnam. I'm lucky I got a chance to meet him, and I have a strong relationship with him. I think he should have chose his words carefully because he means a lot to the city of New Orleans. And New Orleans' population is, for the most part, Black, whether it be African-American or Caribbean-American. He's a Walter Payton Man of the Year. I saw somebody refer to him as a good old boy. He's from Texas, so he could still have strong social values as opposed to former Atlanta Brave John Rocker, who blatantly called out New York City for having such a liberal flavor. And he went as far as saying things that were politically not politically correct. So I could see where he's coming from, but the issue has gotten big enough where now I'm looking at the kneeling as retrospectively as there is it's like a siren, like, yo, we need to sit down, hash it out, because honestly, it should have not gotten to this point right now, to be locked in our houses at 8:00 at night.
Right.
Okay. Greg, what are your thoughts?
Where do I start? So my man Ray already said, you know, it's not about the flags. So I'm not going to revisit that. I'm just going to piggyback off of that. And what he specifically said about his, you know, relatives fighting in World War II, I call bullshit. I don't want to hear it. Sorry, I don't. This is not the time to be talking about your relatives fighting in the war, because the same time that was happening, you had Black soldiers who were being segregated while in the military, while fighting for this country, coming home, having to deal with Jim Crow era laws, getting spit on, and then excluded from the GI Bill. And for those of you that don't know what the GI Bill, that's what basically built the white middle class and allowed white soldiers to get small home loans and go to college for free. Black soldiers were excluded from that after fighting side by side with these white soldiers for this same flag that he so-called says kneeling is disrespecting. So I don't want to hear that. Black people have been disrespected left and right in this country. And for him to make these comments, being in New Orleans, being what he means to the city, tells me that you have these 70% black teammates and you don't know them. You like them, you play with them, but you don't know what they go through. And his comments illustrated that on a grand scale.
Chuck?
I gotta agree with the guys. I mean, we're in such a bad place in the country right now that these comments, whatever he said, they were going to be taken, at the highest level because he's Drew freaking Brees, Hall of Fame quarterback, Walter Payton Man of the Year winner, and I just think he should have chose his words more wisely. But to counter off what Greg said, also, I mean, he said that he had two grandparents, right, fought in the war. So the flag means more to him than it does to me. As far as I know, I never had any grandparents that fought in the war. So the flag doesn't hold the same values to me as it does to Drew Brees. So does that mean that his opinion is all of a sudden wrong? No, that's his opinion. That's cool. Do whatever you want with it. And I just think we got to stop bashing people over having a certain opinion. Just like how people always say, oh, well, certain military members say that kneeling for the anthem is okay. It doesn't mean anything to them. Right, but not all military feels that way. So why are their opinions hold more than other military members? I think we just got to stop bashing people for having a difference of opinion, because we're all going to have a difference of opinion no matter what. We do it in the sports group every day. We always talk about LeBron and Jordan and this and that. Everyone's going to have their own opinion. So at the end of the day, everyone's never going to see eye to eye. And I think that's just part of just human life. So, I mean, Brees never went out and said, you can't do this. I don't support this and this and that. No, and I feel bad for him actually kind of because he's done so much in the New Orleans community and in the state of Louisiana. When COVID happened, he was donating $5 million. I know he's done like flag football programs for kids all in the state and even in Texas and Ohio. So he's done a lot. He's donated a lot. And just now his career is just on a downhill. It's sad to see.
So let me piggyback, Chuck, off what you said. When you said, people's opinions, do we hold, I guess, athletes, celebrities to a different standard? Because not only Drew Brees, but in what's happened over the last week, I've noticed a lot of people saying, well, this athlete didn't speak out. This athlete spoke out. This person didn't do that. Why do we hold them with such high regards and looking for what they're going to say, what they're going to do, as opposed to looking at what we're going to do ourselves? Greg?
So to answer your question, society as a whole has always looked up to celebrities. So let's not act like this is new. This isn't new, And for whatever reason, at some point, society decided we're going to look to these celebrities in times of crisis to help guide us through, because they have the monetary means to help. They have the voice that we don't. But to just piggyback off, counter what Chuck said about, opinions. It's one thing to have an opinion, right? I don't have a problem with people having an opinion, but have an awareness of what's going on around you before you say things. That matters. And to me, his comments were extremely tone deaf to everything, considering how many black teammates he has.
Mm. Andrew, what are your thoughts in what looking at celebrities and what they say and what they don't say?
I got to agree with Greg because you have to come to the table with an educated approach. And at the same time, like, we always look at these celebrities or athletes especially athletes, because like, if for the most part growing up watching them, like, they're our heroes. Like, for me, becoming a Bronco fan in New York out of the blue and like getting to know who Terrell Davis was, like, that was like my guy, that was my hero. And to see that he has to face the same discriminatory I'm sorry, my mind's a little wrapped up, to face the same discrimination it's not right. Like, how is he going to be my hero if he's being portrayed as a villain? So it's important that, like, you hear your celebrities, hear what they say, and you have to hope, like, they have an educated approach.
Ray Jarvis, thoughts on us giving celebrities, athletes value to what they say or what they don't say?
Well, I mean, in America and in most nations, we value idol culture. You know, we want to put people on pedestals and expect them to follow through and be what we can't be beacons, you know. But going to Drew Brees, the problem with this situation is that because it's such a grenade of a topic, he really was trying to be as liberal as he can possibly be. It's not even a matter of necessarily not knowing your teammates. I disagree with you guys on that front. I think he's so concerned about the media reaction to what he's going to say on the topic that he stepped in it anyway, because he was trying to make sure that he was here for his black teammates while not upsetting white America by saying, well, you know, I'm still for the flag, don't protest. Because as soon as he says, right now, today, I'm protest, do what you want, there's going to be millions of people who are going to say, oh my God, he's anti-America. And that goes to the crux of the issue is that it's, to repeat it, it's not about the flag, it's about the nation. The construct of racism in the nation is what the players are protesting. Racism is part of Americana. So in order to change Americana, you have to protest Americana. And that's what the issue is. A lot of people are struggling to accept the obvious. I've been saying this for 2 to 3 years now. Until we can accept the obvious of the racial constructs in America, we can't do anything besides yell and scream at each other.
I mean, we also have to remember America was founded on the grounds of protest. Like that seems to be lost on a lot of the detractors of Colin's protest and the ones who throw in that this is about the flag. They forget how this nation was started, the Boston Massacre, the Tea Party, and all that. These are means of protest.
Chuck, what are your thoughts with celebrities and athletes and what they say and what they don't say?
I would have to say that when I was younger, I was definitely on where, you know, you always look up to these guys. Like, they're your role models. They're your so-and-so Superman. But as I've gotten older and being in the media business, I just see that, like, these statements don't really hold much anymore because they're all cliche PR stuff that players are just going to put out just to look good. I mean, do you really expect somebody to come out and say the wrong thing? Because that's not really going to happen. They have, you know, PR teams that are just typing out, you know, statements for these players, and they're just posting it on social media, and then that's it. That's why I think actions speak louder than words. And I'd rather see a player go out within the community and do something rather than just sit behind on Twitter or something and just tweet out things that don't really make a difference.
Let me turn on my professor hat for a moment. I have this discussion with my students all the time, separating the art from the artist. Now, we know Drew Brees as a great quarterback. Can we appreciate him as a quarterback and leave what his political stance out of the picture? Is that easy for us to do as a society, as sports fans, is to separate? Listen, he plays football. Who cares what his political stance is? It's the same thing for LeBron. He plays basketball. We love him for playing it. Could we do that as a society, or is it hard for us to separate the art from the artist? Andrew.
Absolutely. Like, it's you don't judge somebody by their political views or their religious views. You judge them by their character. Even, I'm assuming everybody's seen The Last Dance. Michael Jordan said Republicans buy Nikes too. Like, but we know him as the greatest basketball player of all time. It shouldn't be based on how your views, unless your views are like very like racist, very sexist, or like you have to judge somebody by who they are off the field. Like, do they give back to the community? Are they there supporting those who need support? It should be based on playing ability and character.
Okay, Ray, can we separate the art from the artist, or is that just a long shot that's something that we can't do as a society?
We should separate the art from the artist. But the problem is with society is that a lot of people are extremely linear in their point of views. So if things change, like for instance, Drew Brees maybe lost 500,000 fans today, because of that linear belief system. They can't separate. They don't understand that there are gray areas, shameless plug, when it comes to people. You know what I
Keep
mean?
plugging. Listen, it's no shameless plug. You plug away. You plug away.
So it's difficult, but for me, yes, I always separate because even when I'm a Kobe guy, and there's a lot of warts that Kobe had, rest in peace. But I always said to people that I don't know Kobe Bryant, the person. I only know the basketball player, and I love the way the basketball player made me feel when I watched him play. So yes, I always separate because until I break bread with this person or I rub shoulders with this person, I don't know them. I can't go off of quotes or coach speeches or whatever the case may be. It's foolish to do that, in my opinion.
So that means you'll still be a Drew Brees fan, given what the context of what he said.
Because to Charlie's point of view, we got to look at the actions. Drew Brees' actions doesn't represent a racist or a person who's anti-protest. He was more afraid of, upsetting, a certain group of people, and then he upset another group of people. It just he messed up without even meaning to mess up.
Greg, what are your thoughts on separating the art from the artist?
I think you can, but I think everything is layered. So I kind of disagree with Ray in the point where he was saying he was trying to not upset one and not upset the other. I think this is what he really believes, and this speaks to inherent bias where people don't even realize they have it, and it comes out through things like this. Does that mean I think Drew Brees is a bad person? No, I think he's misguided in his thought process. So I can separate a misguided thought process based on his actions in the community that he may not fully understand, and the player himself. It's two different people.
So Chuck,
everything is nuanced. We can't, like Ray said, we can't look at everything, as black and white.
Chuck, what are your thoughts in separating the art from the artist? Because of what Drew Brees said, are we going to stop watching him play football now because he stands with the people who stand for the national anthem?
Definitely not. And just for what Ray said, maybe today he lost, a certain amount of fans, but there's still going to be people supporting him, watching him every Sunday. I mean, the Saints are Super Bowl contenders, so I don't want to hear no Saints fan say, oh, I'm giving up on the team and this and that, because you're definitely not. And I think we do have to separate the art from the artist in a way and not worry about political views unless it's something like really extreme, whereas though you got to be like, no, that's a no-no. Growing up, I was never taught to judge anybody whether they had a certain political belief, a certain race, or whatever. I'm friends with everybody. And now, Carl, you're a Celtics fan. I'm a Knicks fan. So do I hate you because you're a Celtics fan? No.
Greg does. And so does Ray. They do.
I hate you because you're an Islanders fan.
Right,
Listen,
exactly.
They're coming to my town. They're coming to Elmont. How can I not root for Elmont? They're coming to my town. Come on now.
I don't think I've ever stopped watching a certain athlete or somebody just because they had a different view than me. Like, I'm still gonna support you no matter what. And I don't know. I just grew up saying that everybody has their own opinion in whatever matter, and that you see things the way that you're going to see them, and we're never going to be able to change that. And we can sit here and argue hours on end about one certain topic. You're not going to change my opinion. I'm never going to change your opinion. So I think we got to separate it, because we all know definitely that we're not going to stop watching Drew Brees or any other athlete that speaks out on this.
Carl, can I put back on Charlie real quick?
Go ahead.
In terms of opinions, right? We're not going to change opinions. I don't agree with that, because if you're, given new information, new factual information that proves your opinion wrong, you should be able to say, as a objective person, you know what? Maybe I was misguided on this. Let me kind of reshift my views to make them align properly. So I don't think that we should sit here and say, well, I'm not going to change my opinion, because I think that's extremely stubborn to do.
Right. And to go off what you just said, Greg, I agree with you. We should be open to teaching each other things and whatnot. But I believe that now as a society, we're so stubborn-headed that once a person sticks to their stance, that's it. That's why, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but going back to the Jordan LeBron debate, we've been arguing this how many months now? You got Brandon, Marcus, and whoever still doing their LeBron thing, and the other guys still doing their Jordan thing. They're never gonna see eye to eye on it. So when they keep arguing, but they're so stubborn-headed in their own views that it's never gonna change.
So my final question here for you guys is how much
What's up,
trouble there really? Ray, you had something to say? I'm sorry.
Now, I was just gonna ask Greg. I mean, why can't Drew Brees actually be both? Why can't he not want people to protest the flag and also be for the cause of improving race relations in America? Why can't he have both?
Because I think it the way he's describing it, you are taking away from one to put on the other.
Okay.
Well, Greg, a quick question I have for you, or actually not a question, more of a comment. When the Astros punishment came down, right?
Yeah.
You and I argued about the severity of it for what, like a week or so, right?
Yeah.
And you still felt your way and I still felt my way, no matter how many facts and things you brought to the table, no matter how many facts I brought to the table. And we were never going to change each other's opinion on it. I'm sure to this day we still feel the same way. But are we like no longer friends or anything just because we had a difference of opinion?
Not at all. Not at all.
Exactly. So I think that just goes to show that we got to stop bashing people over their opinion, unless it's some like really, really like bad.
Egregious, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was the word I was looking for.
So
I
my
like
final. Go ahead.
I was gonna add that also today that yesterday Denver Broncos coach Vic Fangio said he doesn't see racism in the NFL.
Oh, boy.
And because he said if to add on to that, he said that if the world was more like an NFL locker room, we'd be all right. And ESPN today just like totally like took him to the woodshed where he retracted that statement. He said, I understand what I just said. Was like, I'll never know what it's like to walk in those shoes. Yeah. What I meant to say was that if the NFL, in my locker room, at least in my locker room, I don't see color. It's like everybody's a unit. I don't know how you guys agree.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of comments that are going to be coming out from athletes now, especially that sports is coming back soon. So a lot of them are going to be talking. My final question is, how much trouble would you, or if trouble is even the right word, is Drew Brees really in with the fan base with this? Is this something that can blow over? Will people remember when football comes back? How much trouble is he really in, especially with the New Orleans fans? Ray?
I think right now, as we speak, he's in a lot of trouble because people are on edge. We saw just over the weekend, we had a couple of influencers who were upset with the looters. And I think one of them, Desi Banks, he lost about 500,000 followers in about 24 hours off of one tweet, 500,000 followers. So as of right now, because of the emotions and everything that's going on, it's the timing of it all. You have people literally protesting right now, and you're going the opposite direction. So I think this is going to be a black eye for his career because this is going to be a point, unless, let's say especially if he fails this season, right? The Saints don't live up to expectations. We're going to look back to this point where did the Saints locker room fracture? Did he lose? Did he lose the team? Is him and his top wide receiver relationship safe? Who tweeted a couple of things that made me raise my eyebrows as well. I think right now, the only thing that can save Drew Brees from this is performance because a lot of people are not going to come back. A lot of black people, not white people. Let's be frank. A lot of black people are not going to come back from this because now is not the time. This was the worst time for it, and he lost about 250,000 fans today, probably.
Chuck, is he in some deep water or can he survive?
I agree with Ray 110% with everything you just said, especially with the times the way that they are right now. Everybody's on edge. Everybody has been in quarantine for the past 3 months. That everybody's just like a ball of fire right now. And I think that opinion spreads so fast on social media and whatnot that it's just going to be a tumbling effect. But also back to what Ray just said, winning cures all. We know that in sports, no matter how bad a situation gets. So once a team starts winning, all the negative PR and whatnot just goes away. So I think the Saints have to win the Super Bowl, or it's not going to be a pretty sight.
Greg, can he swim under this, or is he just a sinking ship?
I think at this present moment he's a sinking ship only because we haven't seen protests like this since Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, and unless these protests die down, he's going to be under fire unless he comes out and retracts or tries to clean up his statement in some way. But to Ray's point, he's going to upset somebody either way because he tried to play a fence straddler and he ended up, alienating one side.
Andrew, can he sink or swim?
Right now he just cannonballed into the deep. He's he's taking a hit on social media. He's probably realizing he just put his foot in his own mouth. However, we have a summer to go. Hopefully we have training camp. Hopefully we have an NFL season. I haven't heard anything from Corona. I don't know about you guys. But again, like if like time heals all, he can make up for it by, again, his character, Walter Payton Man of the Year. He can go out to the community. He can reach out. And I have to agree with Chuck after the referee never seeing the PI WWE style and the Kirk Cousins game last year. I think they're gonna have to win the Super Bowl. I think now's not the time for like bad luck. If you're a Saints fan, like you got to go full throttle now.
All right.
I
now
expect
that you
the
got Tom Brady in
retraction.
your division too.
Yeah,
What did you say, Ray?
I expect the retraction coming real soon, or a clarifying of what he was trying to say coming very, very soon.
Listen, I'm looking forward to seeing if the gray area has a special segment with his comments, because I know Ray has something up his sleeve, and we look forward to your 2-3 minute
I gotta
videos.
tap in, bro.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining me under short notice for this Zoom. Please make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to Sports Hit List. We have a new series coming out. The Mount Rushmore of the NFL, episode 1 is coming this weekend. I'm excited for that to debut. And we have a lot more content coming. So thank you. Again, please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure you check out the gray area for his content too. You guys have a good night and please stay safe.
You too.
Sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right.